In this session, we're going to cover Section 2 of the RPA agency. Section 2 does three things in order. 1. Discloses the agency relationship using the CAR-AD form, disclosure regarding real estate agency relationship. 2. Confirms in this specific transaction who represents whom, brokerages and individual licensees plus license numbers. 3. Acknowledges two special items. If more than one brokerage/agent is involved on a side, use ABA addendum. That both parties receive the PRBS, possible representation of more than one buyer or seller disclosure. Section 2.a of the RPA is disclosure. What the clause says, each party acknowledges receipt of the disclosure regarding real estate agency relationship, CR Form AD, form from the licensee who represents them. Buyer gets AD from buyer's agent. Seller gets AD from seller's agent. The AD should be delivered at first substantive contact, often at the listing or buyer consultation stage, not just at offer time. Check your file. Do I have a signed AD from my client? If not, pause and get it signed. Section 2.b, Confirmation. This is the fill-in section in the RPA. This is where you lock in who represents whom in this deal. Complete all 4 lines, 2 brokerages plus 2 individual agents, and their license numbers, then select the correct checkboxes. Line 1. Seller's brokerage firm plus license number, enter the exact legal brokerage name and the brokerage's California DRE license number. Then choose one checkbox. The seller, typical when listing broker represents only the seller, or both the buyer and seller, dual agent, only if the same brokerage represents both sides. Remember, dual agency is at the brokerage level in California. If the buyers and sellers' agents hang their licenses under the same broker, that's dual agency, even if 2 different agents are involved. Line 2. Seller's agent plus license number, write the individual licensee's name, the listing salesperson or broker associate, and their individual DRE license number. Check one box. If a team is involved, you still list the actual licensee of record. Teams aren't licensed entities. If a broker of record is writing the offer personally, they go on the agent line and their brokerage goes on the brokerage firm line. Section 2.c, more than one brokerage represents seller or buyer CAR-ABA. This small checkbox triggers the additional broker acknowledgement, ABA, when more than one brokerage, or sometimes multiple licensees, is appearing on one side. When to check it, there are co-listing brokerages on the seller side, or there is an unusual arrangement where multiple brokerages share representation on the buyer side, or you need to add additional licensees formally to reflect who's acting in the file. What to do if checked? Attach and complete CAR Form ABA to list the additional brokerage S/associate S and their license numbers. Section 2.d, potentially competing buyers and sellers CAR PRBS. This confirms that the parties received PRBS, possible representation of more than one buyer or seller, disclosure and consent. PRBS explains that a brokerage may simultaneously work with other buyers or other sellers whose interests could compete with yours. It is not a dual agency consent by itself, it's a notice about potential competition in the marketplace. Dual agency exists when one brokerage represents both buyer and seller in the same transaction. Written consent from both buyer and seller is required. That's why AD plus the confirmation boxes matter. Dual agents owe fiduciary duties to both parties and must not disclose the other party's confidential price/terms or motivations unless authorized.